Okay, so here we go. Let's get on with it. I said I was going to nail the coffin pretty much shut on the polyglots who want to call themselves uh, superior to linguists. They're actually linguophiles, is my word for them. They want. I have. This is unbelievable. The amount of erroneous stupidity that comes up from these guys. A lot of them I've got answers from saying language learners are superior to linguists because we learn languages. Well, I'm going to nail you shut right now on this. Now, Steve Kaufman, Moses Malone, and all you other people who are out there in the YouTube polyglot community thinking you're really something as pseudo intellectuals who decry other people who actually know what they're doing in the field don't know anything about this huge area, which is what? Undocumented languages. Most of the languages of the world do not have scripts. They are not documented. Now, what you people are doing, all you wannabe linguophiles who think you're language learners and so great about it, spend all your time going over some sort of nitpicky, hackneyed idea of about, well, that's how they should pronounce it, because you don't know phonetics and you don't know phonology. Now, undocumented languages, who learns that? Do you polyglots like Steve Kaufman, this Mr. I've got a product to sell? Or does Lao Shu, who is busy in Ohio, learn undocumented languages because he doesn't leave Ohio? No, he does not. Who does learn those languages? Field linguists. And why? And how? Well, why is because they're probably working on language documentation, or they're working for some organization that has an agenda why they want that language documented also. Now, the reason that they can do it is because they know certain skills that you language files don't have and won't have because you're so anti-intellectual that you don't want to know about them and you decry them because you think in your own little twisted worldview that there aren't anything other than these languages that are documented, and you use a text approach. You use well, there's dictionaries, there's resources, there's information that's been done, and I'm going to use a left brain approach. And I'm going to cover the left brain, right brain, as somebody's asked me about language learning, and will I put out what linguists know about it, real linguists. And yes, I will in future, but now I'm going to concentrate on the undocumented languages and nail the linguophiles to the ground and gone. You can't learn it, undocumented language, because you don't know what to do. You have no idea what to do. Steve Kaufman has no idea. What's he going to do? Oh, well, there's no text, there's no audio files, there's no film. What's he going to do? Nothing, absolutely nothing. He doesn't know how to elicit word list. He doesn't know how to do a phonological sketch, a grammar sketch, all of what parts of what has to be done before you can begin. Now, elicitation is going to take a long time, and he doesn't even know how to do that. Moses, how are you gonna learn a language that doesn't have any text for you to read, and how are you gonna just decide what sort of script you might use? And without knowing IPA, which all of you seem to decry, other than Glossica, you won't have a methods of putting down what the sounds are, because the language is once again sound and meaning. Now, Steve Kaufman was recently decrying someone who was talking about IPA. Steve, oh, I don't need it. You're right, you don't need it. But there's whole experts in scientific fields like speech pathology who use IPA. Phonetic articulatory phonetics is very important, and for transcribing the sounds that you hear into a beginning script that can be read by other linguists, not linguophiles, linguists around the world. IPA is what's used, and from that, then you start figuring out the phonotactics of that. Now, I'm not going to explain everything. This is not a free graduate course for you. And from there, you're going to also be working on a grammar sketch. You're going to see how things work. Is it a nominative, accusative? Is it ergative, ablative? Is it topic driven? Is it anaphora? Is there anaphora? Is there going to be a prodrop? Is there how often does a referent have to be mentioned? Many things. What's the hierarchical organization of the kinship terms? Because those things are huge, because most of you are dealing with languages that are documented that do not have a strong hierarchical kinship structure, which is very important to many of these languages. Now, okay, so Mr.'s, I'm learning this language and that language. Well, like I said, most of the languages of the world are not documented. 700 languages are said to be in Papua New Guinea. Consult the ethnologue on this. Below the Sahara, there's quite a few languages. A lot of them are click-stop languages, which you're not going to be able to learn either, because there's no text for you. And if you can't read IPA, you're not going to be able to do the sounds. All right, you're not going to have anything to read to understand. All of you linguophiles are erroneously basing things off of a text-driven dead language method, which is fine. That's why in the Middle Ages people were using the grammar translation only method, because they were reading text, they were keeping text going. But when you're dealing with living languages, that there might not be that many speakers of the language, but it's still being used daily, the numbers may be dwindling, and it has no script. How are you going to document that? Okay, linguophiles, you've been proven once again to have no skills, and you're diminished by real linguists. Okay, good luck. So come back with your specious arguments, your sophomoric thoughts, and once again, remember, I don't post anything. If you claim something, you have to academically prove it. Number one, if you don't have a name, you don't have a photo, I don't put you up here. Save your backslapping good old boy network for your polyglotted, I think I'm really doing something, wannabe anti-intellectual ring of idiots. Until the next time, I'll be leading the crusade to make the general public know the difference between a linguophile and a true linguist.